multi. Okay, call the meeting to order at I don't have my watch on, 6:34.
6:34.
Yep, 6:34. Chair's announcements. I don't have any announcements.
No,
Carl, should I have announcements? Did we talk about anything?
No, I don't know of any.
I don't think so.
Moving on.
Okay, public comment?
No public.
No, we have
Nope.
Barbara.
There's Barbara.
No
Okay. Approval of the June 28th meeting minutes. We're
We're
going
gonna-
to hold off till August for that because when we reviewed the minutes, there were some revisions that needed to be made. So I started doing them tonight in the
Oh.
meeting where there were a few of them. Josh is going to update, send it out with the August packet, and we'll vote on it then.
So we don't need a motion to postpone?
I don't think so.
Okay, moving on.
Okay. I need to study more when we need formal motions. I think we can just say we're gonna postpone it. Review of financial reports. We don't have the July 31st ones yet, and I think that's probably because Laurie Greeny, who sends it to us, she's the finance manager. She's probably swamped closing out one fiscal year, opening the other one. So that's going to get postponed until August as well by then. Or actually, this is as of July 31st. It should have said June 30th. That was my mistake. Should be on the agenda, should say June 30th. But when we act on it in August, it will be July 31st. Okay, the next thing under financial reports, the end of the year closeout and encumbrances. We had talked at the last meeting in June about the process we had to follow. We did that. We encumbered 3 things to make sure they're paid out of this fiscal 23. If we didn't encumber them, it would, and the bills came in, it would have to be paid out of fiscal 24. But because we did, as we were asked, we requested they be encumbered. So the bills will be paid out of the correct fiscal year. Okay, moving right along. Old business project updates. Central Square Congregational Church Historic Restoration. We're still working on the deed restriction. Some of these, I don't know if you had a chance to look at. Josh sent us out this afternoon from the town manager of project updates. He couldn't meet with Carlton and I prior to this meeting as we usually do. So I requested some updates. And so Josh sent them out from the town manager. I'll just go down those quickly. It's probably not the same order as they listed on the agenda. But the Old State Farm Trail project, the trail consultant secured commitments from the state through DCAM, which is, if you're not familiar with DCAM, it's a Divisional Capital Assets Management. I don't know what the second M is. I thought there was just one M in DCAM, but okay. The trail consultant secured commitments from the state through DCAM to allow flexibility in the trail layout. Currently, the trail layout is being finalized. Plans are underway to begin the trail construction, and the parking areas at each end of the trail have been engineered. The town has secured the first phase of construction funding from the Mass Trails Grant Program. Harry, do you have anything to add for that for Concom?
no, that's about all we know too, so.
Okay, good, thank you. Next is the Summer Street property, the mobile station property. Property has been transferred to the town's ownership. A small working group made up of Marilee Hunt from the Bridgewater Improvement Association, Dennis Lunenberger from the university, Bob Rule, Community and Economics Director, and Jim Small, Parks and Rec Superintendent, will guide the public design process with Melissa Desjardins, who's a landscaping architect designer. The Floral Little Park survey is due this week. It was held up due to a little bit of rain that we had. So the transition between the mobile station property and the existing park can be designed. The designer Melissa Desjardins, will have several weeks of planning to present several alternative plans. These will be the basis for a community planning session in September or October. The town engaged a structural engineer to survey the existing structure, the garage itself. The analysis showed that the structure is in fine condition and could be used for recreational purposes. A written report is forthcoming. Okay, Styles and Hart improvements. The design work is substantially complete. I'll be forwarded to the ad hoc committee and open space committee for comments and suggestions this week. Once they have completed their reviews, they'll be sent to the Parks and Rec Commission for final approval. Then the project will go out to bid. Hanson's
Yeah,
Farm,
I thought there was supposed to be a public input part.
Styles and Hart, we'll
Yeah.
question Michael on that. You're right. He did say that you had asked for an ad hoc committee to include public and also to include CPC members too.
Right.
Okay, that's a good point. We'll question Michael on that. Okay, I didn't think Parks and Rec had the final approval, but they must, where it's a park and under Parks and Rec. Okay, Hanson's Farm, which is actually in a different section on the agenda, is the survey plan was forwarded to the appraiser for his review. The appraisal, excuse me, will not be officially requested until later in the fall, so the timing complies with the state's land grant requirements. Once the appraisal is complete, and assuming the town will move forward with the purchase of the agricultural restriction, the town manager's office will complete the CPC forms and secure a purchase agreement from the Hansons. A revised timeline will be circulated in August.
It's interesting, we don't have an application. So when are they going to submit the application to CPC?
When they, once they, wait a minute, that was in there, I just said that, hold on. Okay, once the appraisal is complete and assuming the town moves forward with the purchase of the restriction, they'll complete the CPC forms.
Application, thank you.
Yep. Yeah, he doesn't actually say application, but okay. And we'll make sure we have a timeline for the August meeting. Okay, what I meant to ask for at the start, well, let's finish project. So we did Church House and had Summer Street. Hemlock Drive windows and door replacements. I think that's just, we need to check on the town manager signing the agreement, grant agreement. We talked about the trails. Carl, anything on the Parthenon freeze?
No update.
Okay, good. I'm dying to, I was thinking of those today. I'm dying to see how they come out. Dying to see them in general. Okay, what I should have said from the start, I'd like a motion to take the first item under new business out of order to reorganize. We're required to reorganize. Boards, committees, and commissions are required to reorganize the first meeting in July.
I move to postpone reorganization until the August meeting when we have a full committee membership on board.
Second,
Okay, good, thank you. Any
Discussion?
discussion? Hearing none. Josh, roll call vote,
Gina,
yes?
Carlton,
Yes,
Harry,
yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion is approved.
Great, thank you. McAllen School, I think there's no update on that. Completed projects funding pending final reports before we can close them. Pickleball courts, memorial building and Summer Street property.
Dana, can I request that Josh put a little pressure on the town manager to get those forms done? It's been months. And I think he's had those. So if we could get a little bit of internal pressure to get those done, that would be great.
Yep,
Got
that sounds good. Josh, will you do that?
Yep.
Okay, great. Now good on Jim Small too from Parks and Rec for the pickleball courts. Okay, memorial building in Summer, the mobile station is Michael's project. Okay, at the last meeting, we voted to recommend purchasing or taking of the two properties on Broad Street next to the Chinese restaurant. At the council meeting, I think it was on the 11th, it was referred to, somebody help me with this, the budget and the finance commissions, committees, for the input, and it'll be back before the council at their next meeting. I think
Which
that's
is
in-
August 1st. The next meeting is August 1st.
Okay, yep, and that'll be back. Do they have to do a second reading on that, or can they just vote when they get it back?
First reading was sending it out, I believe.
Oh, okay, good, thank you. Told you, we would move right along in this meeting. Eligibility forms that are approved, waiting for applications. We talked about the Hanson's Farm for the actual agricultural restriction. The Methodist Church, they've decided that they're not doing the project right now. We had accepted their project as being eligible for historic preservation of the church. They've just decided as of right now not to do it. So that's one thing that'll be off of our agenda. Okay, administrative account updates, Hanson Farm approval. It was part of the regular Hanson Farm project. Recognition plaques and signage. And I apologize because I can't spell signage. And spell Chuck didn't pick it up. Okay, recognition plaques and signage for CPA funded projects. We approved at the last meeting for Carlton to go ahead and order the plaques and signs and whatever we need.
Yeah, just to update. My plan is to, the first thing is to go get the little plastic plaques for the library historic display cases. I still need to reach out to a number of the recipients in the past to make sure that they're willing to put things on their structures. So
Okay.
next month, I hope to have a better estimate, and I'll clarify with finance department how we proceed with the purchase order.
Okay, that's good, thank you. That's a good point to ask the recipients if they're willing to put something up, even though they were told at the start when they were granted funds that it has to be noted. But that's a good point. And also what type of sign they'd like, or plaque. Okay, so that's that. No discussion applications received for the Central Square Congregational Church for the next 2 phases. Anticipated projects, restoration of the fire, antique.
Gina, this is Carl.
Yes, sir.
Question to the church. I've seen documentation that the church may or may not proceed with the historic preservation. Can you help us a little bit understand where you guys are at with that?
I can. On September, this coming September, I think the last Sunday of the month, whatever the date is, the church has called a special meeting of the congregation for a discussion on the renovations of the church, because the majority of the people do not want to proceed any longer. And there are still some in the congregation who want to proceed. So that would be a special meeting being held to see what the decision is made. So,
Thank you. I have a question then. So based on that, we should still continue to get the deed restriction in place just in case. Is that what you're?
yes, because originally the church voted to go ahead with the project. And the only way the project ceases is they have to vote to stop it. So as far, right now at the moment, everything is still a go.
Thank you very much for the
Okay.
clarification.
Good,
Yeah.
thank you for that, Barbara.
Okay.
And you'll keep us posted too.
I will, there's nothing new coming up until September. So-
Okay,
So Cal, Gina, can I ask Carlton a question?
sure.
Who pays for that deed restriction to be drawn up?
We have money that's encumbered to cover the cost of PAL, the Rhode Island group, to work with us on the deed. So we have money set aside for that that's carried over to this fiscal year. It's from FY23, so it's carried over.
Okay, it's something, Pat, that we've talked about. The only other deed restriction that I know of that happened was,
Right, but if they're considering rescinding it, why would we move forward with spending money to draft a deed restriction that may not even go on the property?
Good point.
no, that's what I was thinking
Why,
too.
why
is
would,
it-
why wouldn't we just table it? I don't understand. If they're considering withdrawing, why would we spend any of our resources to do a deed restriction until we had an affirmative vote from their committee or their church?
I hear you. I agree. Let's just postpone any further work until the church makes a decision.
Okay.
And I can make them, we can move to do that if necessary.
Okay, I think we probably should.
Okay, I move to postpone continuing the deed restriction preparation until such time as the church Central Squares Congregational Church decides the future of their project.
Second.
Okay, discussion. Okay, Barbara, your thoughts on, I know this is supposed to be CPC discussion, but I'd like to hear your input on that motion.
I totally agree with the committee, CPC committee, to put it on hold. If I was on the
Okay.
committee, I would vote yes also.
Okay, thank you. And if you need anything for that meeting, from us, be sure to let us know.
Okay, just to let you know that when it comes to voting at the church, I am voting to continue with the project, but I am
Good.
sure I will be outvoted.
Okay.
So, but yes,
Thank
I see your point, and I'm on board with CPC committee. I understand.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing, Josh,
Gina,
yes,
Carlton,
Yes,
Harry,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
okay, thank you. Okay, anticipated projects, restoration of the fire department, antique pump wagon. I haven't heard from Chief McDermott. Last I had heard from him, he was in the process of getting a quote to repair it. I will reach out to him again to see if they're still planning to do that, when they're planning to do it. And I'll have more information at the next meeting. Hopefully. Additional pickleball courts, nothing has been actually requested yet. That's the anticipated. Parks and Rec spoke about it at their last meeting. We, meeting the Parks and Rec Commission, are going to look at where they're being proposed, because the pickleball group has their proposals on where they would like to see them. Parks and Rec needs to see if they'll fit, get more info on that. So right now, it's all just speculated that there will be a request for additional pickleball courts.
Gina, point of order.
Sure.
I understand that the Parks and Rec Commission reorganized. And could you speak quickly to that? And I'm assuming you will continue to represent Parks and Rec, but you need to tell us.
I will. Parks and Rec reorganized, and we have a new chair, Mark Thomas, who is a new member of Parks and Rec as of last fall. I think he'll be great as a chair. I want to thank Mike Flaherty, who had been our chair for the past few years, who also did a very good job too. I'm still vice chair of Parks and Rec, and also I'm the Parks and Rec representative to the CPC.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that's where
So-
that stands.
So Gina, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
So you're on Parks and Rec. So the existing pickleball courts, are they at capacity? Are the courts full all the time? Why would we, when we don't have tennis courts in town, why would we pursue more pickleball courts? Just from your perspective on Parks and Rec. I mean, we just built, 5 new courts?
We have 6 courts from,
Are they full? Are they full all the time?
not all the time. In the morning, when I go to a little before 9, when I go to exercise classes at the senior center, the courts are packed. There's
So what
people
do
away.
do we have scheduling software? Do we schedule them? Or is it first come, first serve? I mean,
It's first
how,
come,
I mean,
first. Yeah, it's first come, first serve. They have a whiteboard up there, and there's this whole process, and people that play all the time are aware of it. You put your name up, you only play. Say you go up to play with your group, you can't play like 10 games till you're tired and say, okay, I'm done. You play, I think, 1 or 2 games, you get off, let the next group go on. So it's a good rotating schedule.
so is there, I mean, are we looking at just adding to that existing facility?
Yes. It's probably from late morning, mid to late morning to, I'd say, later afternoon, around a little before supper time. There's hardly anybody there. People are
It
working.
just, I mean, to me, it just seems like we have so many recreational needs in town.
Mhm. I would
You
like
know,
to see tennis
We
courts too.
have basketball. I mean, I'm glad Mark's the chairman now. I think he'll do a great job.
Mhm.
I just think we have so many recreational needs in town. Just
Mhm.
look at the basketball courts at Scotland. It's like nobody even manages them. It's a skate park and it's supposed to be basketball courts. I mean, look at the basketball courts at Legion. I mean, it's tough to even run a summer league there. I mean, there's just so many that we have no tennis courts in town. In fact, there was a thread on, I know the high school's proposing to build some new ones, but as far as the town goes, we have an abandoned set at the high school and we have an abandoned set, two abandoned sets now at the high school, from the old high school, from what I understand. So when, I just think from a park and rec perspective, when you start to think about it, maybe we should build some tennis court somewhere with a pickleball, like painted insert or something like that. We
Mhm.
really need to look at other things too, I think. If more pickleball courts came before us, I would be against it until we address some of the other needs in town, because
Right.
there's so many.
Yep. Thanks for your input, Pat. I
And
will pass it.
I hope Parks and Recs is, and we need a capital plan for Parks and Recs. I mean, not just, hey, we need more pickleball courts. I mean, I'm with my kids at all these facilities, and our facilities are a joke compared to other towns. It's
Mhm.
terrible.
I am constantly on the town manager for more funding for Parks and Rec. Just and for different things. And I know Jim Small, our superintendent, has gone to Michael for things. I keep being told it's on the capital plan. Well, the capital plan is nice,
But
but there's no set dates for it.
does rec have a capital plan that they want funded? So like, does the rec committee have, all right, we need tennis courts this year, we need basketball courts this year, we need pickleball courts, this year. Is there do you on the rec commission have your own capital plan?
We don't, but that's a good point, and I'm sure Mark will agree to it.
I mean, and that's what I've never understood. Like, how do we have a rec commission with no plan?
Mhm. Well, we used to when we had money. It's like, okay, this is what we're doing.
Right,
We're doing the basketball courts.
but if we're trying to request stuff, we should have a plan, like these are the priorities and these are the costs. And then when stuff comes to us and we say, all right, this is the number one priority, and the town's gonna kick in half and CPC is gonna kick in half. I mean, then we have a basis for voting for it. But I mean, we have, I mean, the pickleball courts are the nicest things we have in town, and I'm glad we have them. I'm glad people use them. But there are so many other needs, and
Mhm.
I think before we ever considered more pickleball courts, the rec commission, and I'll reach out to Mark. The rec commission should really develop a capital plan as to
Mhm.
what, there should really be a whole overhaul of Legion Field.
Mhm.
I can't tell
Yeah.
if Jeff has his hand up or not. Jeff, do you have your hand up?
Jeff?
No, I couldn't.
Okay, I'm gonna move, put forward a motion. I move that the Parks and Rec Commission provide the Community Preservation Committee with a capital plan focused on recreational needs.
I mean, we have a recreational needs assessment, don't we?
Probably not.
We do.
I mean, yeah, the town did it on a couple
So
of years ago. There's a whole rec needs assessment plan.
Let's continue this discussion under a motion, please.
Okay, do we have a second to Houghton's motion?
Well, I think Gina's Carlton, Gina's the Parks and Rec representative, right?
Right,
I mean,
I
she
don't,
can bring, I don't think we need a motion. I think we're just having a general discussion about more pickleball courts. I just think that, I think she gets the message.
Mhm.
She can,
And I don't, following along with that. I don't
We're
think,
not under a motion, so Gina, the right way to say is it fails for lack of a second, and then we can continue.
okay, fails for lack of a second. Speaking for Parks and Rec, I will relay this information. I myself, some of the others on here, Pat Carlton, Harry, Jeff, I'm not sure how long you've been in town. We used to, every committee, commission, board, department would take their budgets to the old, what they called finance, advisory board. I can remember sitting there and arguing for basketball courts at Scotland Field. It got passed by the advisory board, got put on the town budget that was voted on at the town meeting. I've requested for Parks and Rec, not just myself, other members of the committee as well, have requested to be involved in the budgeting process for Parks and Rec. And we're basically told, and we're setting up an appointment with the town attorney to see what our responsibilities are. Because we've basically been told the Parks and Rec budget is under the superintendent, so he's the one that puts it together. Our argument is, and I know other committees and commissions and boards are under the same problem, same issue. Right, the budget and all the grounds are under the superintendent. Our argument is that the superintendent is under the commission. The town disagrees with that. So that's a big debate, but I agree. I saw that thread on Facebook about tennis courts, and I thought, I haven't played tennis in years, but I can see the need for it. Maybe put tennis courts instead of additional pickleball courts. So, but good discussion.
I guess I would hope that our Parks and Rec Commission, in addition to meeting and addressing like the daily, the weekly needs and stuff, would have a master plan. And you're telling me there's no, there was a rec needs assessment done, I think in 2016, 2017. Are we following that at all or no? I mean, do you guys use that as your manual?
We should. I don't think we are right now, but we should. I would love to have you, Pat, come to our next meeting too, because you have some great suggestions, and where you're on the fields and different facilities all the time with your kids.
I'm going to jump
Well,
in for a second. You mind if I jump in? The
Nope,
reason
go
I
right
put a-
ahead.
The reason I put a motion forward was, I'm not sure the language will be heard well in various places. And I was trying to put a little bit more pressure on the Parks and Rec Commission and support them, in fact, in getting what you're asking for. That was the sole reason I put that forward, because I think it has to be coming from more than one committee. Thank you.
Okay. We can revisit your motion. And
Well,
hope-
Carl,
No.
I mean,
We're done.
I don't want to, I guess I don't want to tell a committee how they should run their committee, but I'm just surprised that everything in this town seems like it's knee-jerk reactions. Like, oh, we need more pickleball courts. So what about all the other things we need? We just built 5 new pickleball courts.
Six.
Before we build new pickleball courts, we should see if they're being, maximized. Are they being used enough? Are they, and then what other needs do we have in town? And we have a whole rec needs. We paid for a rec needs assessment, I think, in 2017. It might even be 2020 or 2019.
Are you
So
referring?
I just think before anybody,
Matt, are you referring to the open space plan?
what's that?
Are you referring to the open space plan?
Yeah, no, we have a recreational needs.
There was
we
a
have-
separate
we
needs
also-
assessment.
I wasn't aware of that. I'm just trying to make sure we're talking about the various
Mhm.
documents.
There was a separate needs assessment because we had, as Parks and Rec, had questioned why it was being done. The town's the one who arranged for it, not Parks and Rec. But we questioned why it was being done.
And listen, I'm not.
We're losing you.
We lost you, Pat.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yep.
I just think that we have a lot of needs in town
Mhm.
and we should really, I mean, you as the recreation representative should help us make sure those needs are addressed and we should make sure that, hopefully Mark as chairman now will try to
Mhm.
address some of these things and put together a capital plan,
Good. I agree, but, and I want to thank you for your input and others too for input on this, and I will bring it to the Parks and Rec meeting. We usually meet the first Monday of the month, and I think this year we wouldn't have next month we wouldn't have a quorum, so we changed the date. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I will bring it forward to the committee. And I think Mark will be all for it because he just seems like bum, 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 bum. We're gonna get this done. This is the business. This is what we need. So I'm sure he'll be all for that. Okay, policies and procedures document is, I believe we've added in everything that we need to add in.
Let me speak to that, please.
Sure.
We have one piece that we haven't got final approval on. No committee member has sent comments since the last meeting, so I'm making the assumption that there will be no further comments forthcoming. But I would like to postpone consideration until August to address. There's a piece that deals with how we do invoicing, reviews, that kind of thing that we had worked out with the town manager. I drafted it, but we haven't gotten final comments from the town manager, so I'd like to postpone until August.
Okay. Sounds like a plan to me. Anybody have questions or comments? Okay, so that's another August one. Good. As short as this meeting is going to be, August may not be as short. Okay, annual public hearing. We had decided to combine it with, we thought to combine it with the 5-year plan. The town manager said that was fine. We had also, as a committee, CPC had thought it was a good idea to look into hiring a consultant to write the 5-year plan. Both Carlton and I reached out to Jen Golson from JM Golson Consulting. She's the one, she used to be our CPC consultant for years until she dropped that from her business and just concentrates on housing. But she had written our last one. We reached out to her and to see if she'd be willing to do it, and she said yes. And she'd be glad to submit a bid. I reached out to the town manager. I'm not sure how much she would be charging. I reached out to him about bidding procedures, what the bidding thresholds were, to see if we wouldn't need to bid it, if we could just, if it was under a certain amount, use sound business practices. And what he put in that update that Josh emailed out this afternoon, under 10,000 is sound business practices and award to the responsive person offering the best price. Bridgewater generally solicits 3 written quotes for anything over 5,000 and requires a signed agreement. $10,000 to $100,000. Use a written purchase description to solicit written price quotations from no fewer than 3 persons who customarily provide the service. Award to the responsive person. Over 100,000, a sealed bid process. Then he put in simple language, I recommend, meaning Michael, recommends that the CPC draw up a list of deliverables, reach out to any consultants who may be able to provide the service, engage interest, and a rough idea of the cost. Ask Josh to put the list of deliverables in a letter, asking consultants to give a quote on the services within a certain amount of time, and have Josh send out the letters to potential consultants. So we just need to come up with what are the deliverables. The last time we did the 5-year plan, Jen Golson had held a number, I say a number, maybe 3 or 4 open sessions that the public was invited to for comments, what they thought they would like to see in the plan, see what CPC, they would like to see the CPC do in the next 5 years. So I would say that would be included, plus writing up the plan, and a final presentation to the CPC that we would vote on for the 5-year plan. Can anybody think of anything else that would be a deliverable for that?
You know, I'm going to suggest that the officers of the committee get together, produce a scope, set of deliverables, whatever we need to send to the town manager, and then the CPC can vote on it in August.
Okay, sounds good.
And to clarify for the committee that's on board on here now, when we spoke with Ms. Golson, she said her schedule's really it's full now, and it may get full next spring. So the sooner we can get this done and get them under contract, the better it will be. So I think we should wait. We should not wait past August to get this in process. And at that point, I would move, in August, I would have a motion to have the town manager seek bids, whatever we have, to support the CPC's next 5-year plan. And there's more details in this particular one, but I'll postpone that motion till August, but Gina and I can work on the scope question.
Okay, so we don't need to, originally my thought is for tonight to vote to go forward with the process, but we should hold off on that vote until we actually have the scope that we want, correct?
Yeah, I would like us to have something for the committee to work against, and maybe we have great ideas, but somebody else will have another one that we need to put a straw before them, have the committee add to it, we distract from it, remove from it,
Mhm.
and then we vote that, and then we move forward with the town soliciting the bid.
Okay, good, thank you. Discussion on that, further discussion? If you haven't seen the 5-year plan, the current 5-year plan that runs out next spring, I believe it's on the CPC site for the town. Josh, if it's not, can you check that? And if it's not, can you put it on? I believe it is on though.
Sure.
Okay. And I would like not to do with that, what kind of to do with that. When I tried to look up what the bidding requirements are, I found bidding requirements for, because they were all outdated, for every town around us, like slews of towns. I think Bridgewater should have a document out there too for bidding requirements, so we don't have to ask what they are. Or somebody else might want to know. Concon might want to vote for something. To know the bidding.
Parks and Rec also.
Parks and Rec. We don't have Charlie anymore that knew all these things. And that's what I did for a job. But in the 6.5 years since I've been retired, I'm sure they've changed 6.5 times too. Okay, any other old business? Okay, new business, we already said to hold off on reorganization till August. Any other new business? Hearing none, committee liaison reports. Anybody have anything to report? We talked about Parks and Rec already. Harry, anything for Concom?
We're meeting tomorrow night at 6. We have like 5 new notices of intent, and let's see, those will go pretty quick. And then at the end of the meeting, we're gonna be a discussion on the fire station entrance. So
Okay,
that's what's up there.
okay, good. Jeff, anything from historical?
Nope, nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Pat, planning board, I haven't got to listen to your last meeting, which is still on my list of things to do, but I understand you guys have been busy.
Yep, and I don't have time to give a formal update tonight, so I'm trying to square away my daughter here, so
Right,
I'll,
okay,
all right.
okay. I thank all of you for the committees you're on. Carlton, I know it's not the committee you represent, but anything on the energy forest?
No, well, what I will say from an energy perspective, I have a meeting. We put some things before the town manager, have nothing, there's no CPC role in this, but we are beginning to look at energy aggregation. We are supposed to be hiring a consultant, which hopefully that will be done soon. And then we've got some other things that we're going to be put before the town council. I have a call with the town council chair president on Friday to discuss some things that I want on their agenda. And from a general perspective, I'm not aware of any other external things that the general public has, but I absolutely want to thank Pat for bringing up the Parks and Rec plan, the funding plan, that kind of stuff. I personally think that and we require that in the application document where the basis is from, so what report it is, that kind of thing. So if there's an application coming forward, any of those from a recreational perspective need to at least recognize and note within that plan where the town has agreed to have that go forward at some level. Thank you.
Okay, good. I thank Pat again too. I thank all of you for your reports. I just had something in my brain as Carlton was talking and it went out as quick as it came in. Oh, I know, just to jump back to the Congregational Church. I was in the process of trying to set up our in-person meeting where the representative that was the contractor that was putting together the plan. Should I ask her that we're holding off on the meeting for now? Until the church decides what they want to do?
You mean the PAL contractor?
Right,
Yeah, I tell them that we're not going to move forward until we get a notice in the church.
okay. Okay, I will. Thank you. I know that was out of order, but it just popped into my brain. Okay, upcoming events. I can't think of any. Public comment. Barbara, you're our public.
I'm the public.
You're our public.
I have no comment.
Okay, thank you. Next meeting date is August 23rd at 6:30. And I'm guessing it will still be Zoom, but we'll let you know.
I may be on vacation that week. I have to check my calendar.
Okay. Okay, we'll work that. Even if we have to change date, we'll check again for quorum. The week before, I'm away. but I'm up in New Hampshire, so I can always jump on to a Zoom, so that's not a problem. But we'll check on that. Anybody else know that they won't be here on the 23rd? Okay, we'll figure the date, make sure that's still a good date. Okay, motion to adjourn.
Motion
moved.
to adjourn,
Second,
second.
Okay, Josh,
Gina,
my brain's going, yes.
Carlton,
yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved. The meeting is adjourned.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you
And
all.
thank you, Pat. I hope everything's works out with your daughters.
Yep, she broke
Okay.
her arm last week. This is strep throat, so.
Yep. Well, I hope her throat gets better
So
as well as
thank you.
the arm.
Bye-bye.
Okay,